The starship Aurora Drift glided through a calm stretch of deep space on a quiet patrol route that rarely saw anything interesting happen. Most of the crew had grown used to the predictable routine, but the human engineer named Liam never stopped hoping for a little excitement. He watched the view outside the hangar window and waited for another day of maintenance work to begin. That was when the distress signal arrived. The alert echoed through the hall and carried a steady rhythm that hinted at urgency. Liam sprinted toward the command deck where the captain, a stout and calm man named Holt, analyzed the faint transmission. The signal originated from a small escape pod drifting without propulsion near a belt of shattered ice fragments. The crew quickly locked onto the coordinates and moved to intercept. Liam felt a rising sense of anticipation because he always believed that cosmic events unfolded for a reason and that the universe enjoyed surprising people who thought they had seen everything. When the pod was pulled into the hangar, Liam and the medical officer Myra were the first to open it. Inside they found an alien girl with soft lavender skin, delicate lines along her cheeks that glowed faint blue, and long silver hair that seemed to float slightly as if it were lighter than normal matter. She opened her eyes slowly, revealing a pair of large teal irises that shimmered like deep oceans under sunlight. She looked frightened, exhausted, and confused, yet also strangely peaceful, as if she trusted the hands that reached out to help her. Myra helped her out of the pod and ran a scan while Liam tried to speak in a gentle voice. The alien girl finally managed to whisper her name. She called herself Rila. Her voice was melodic and lightly trembling, and Liam could tell she had endured something frightening before escaping into that pod. She tried to stand, but her legs buckled. Liam caught her before she fell, and she stared at him with wide eyes that reflected relief mixed with the fear of the unfamiliar. The crew brought her to the medbay where Myra guided her into a diagnostic chair that adjusted automatically to her shape. Rila glanced nervously at every device and panel, and Liam could practically see her mind racing. He remembered how humans once reacted to unknown technology, and he felt a burst of empathy for her. She asked where she was in a soft voice that trembled like a fragile tone. He explained that she was aboard a human vessel and safe from danger. She listened as if every word mattered. Once Mira confirmed that Rila had no serious injuries, Liam offered to help repair whatever damage had occurred to her pod. Rila insisted that she needed a power restoration for a small cube she kept with her. She called it a core bond unit, and she said it was vital for her survival. It glowed faintly and pulsed like a slow heartbeat. Liam inspected it and realized that the device had suffered internal disruption, possibly from an energy shock or impact. He told her they needed to connect it to Aurora drift systems to stabilize its charge. When Liam picked up a cable from the diagnostic table, Rila froze. She stared at the tool with astonishment and confusion. Her glowing cheek lines dimmed slightly. She whispered a question with pure disbelief. She asked why humans used such a large physical connector. Liam tried not to laugh because he realized the misunderstanding. Rila seemed convinced that the cable was meant for her body. She stepped back with alarm and raised her hands as if to shield herself. Liam quickly explained that he planned to connect the cable to the device, not to her. She blinked several times and looked embarrassed after realizing the mistake. Her voice fluttered as she admitted that her species used wireless energy systems, so the sight of a physical plug confused her. Liam reassured her that nothing invasive would happen. He showed her step by step how the cable would link the core bond unit to the ship's power interface. Rila hesitated, but nodded after a moment. Her fear faded and curiosity grew. She watched closely as Liam prepared tools on the workbench. Her teal eyes widened as she noticed how humans worked with patient precision, even when dealing with unfamiliar alien artifacts. She had expected humans to be reckless or forceful, but Liam approached the task with a careful respect that surprised her. Rila climbed down from the medbay platform and approached him. She asked why humans always carried so many tools and metal devices. Liam explained that humans adapted to many environments by creating physical solutions to physical problems, and that it made them resourceful and resilient. She touched a wrench lightly and seemed fascinated by its weight. She said that in her culture, most tools were energy-based and intangible. Liam grinned and said that humans liked to keep things simple and reliable. She smiled for the first time since waking in the pod dot when Liam opened the core bond unit. He discovered a small crystalline chamber at the center. Soft threads of energy flickered inside it like lightning trapped within glass. Rila leaned closer and explained that the crystal housed her species' ancestral resonance memory. Each individual carried a unique node shaped by their experiences. The core bond unit served as both a life support enhancer and a connection to her people's collective history. Liam realized its significance and vowed to handle it with utmost caution. He told her that he needed to integrate a stabilizer coil from the Aurora Drift's reserve stock. Rila nodded, but still watched with nervous attention as he brought out a cylindrical piece of metal with glowing rings. She asked if that device also needed to be placed inside the pod unit. When he confirmed that it did, she let out a tiny gasp and repeated in an incredulous voice the phrase that would echo through the hangar for hours. She asked if he was really putting that inside the device. Liam held back a laugh because the way she said it made it sound like a comedic misunderstanding. He assured her it was perfectly normal in human engineering. She touched her forehead and muttered something in her own language that seemed like a flustered complaint about human methods. Once the stabilizer coil clicked into place, the core bond unit emitted a more consistent glow. Liam ran a low-energy calibration sequence through the power cable. Rila watched in awe as small pulses of light traveled through the cable and merged with the crystal chamber. She commented that humans had an interesting approach to energy transfer and that the solidity of their technology felt oddly comforting. Liam felt a quiet pride because HFY moments often came from simple human ingenuity rather than grand gestures. As the calibration continued, Rila began to share more about her background. Her vessel had been ambushed by an unidentified hostile force near a nebula known for unstable magnetic tides. Her people avoided conflict and rarely interacted with other species. She had escaped in the pod during the chaos, but the pod had been damaged by a shockwave. She had floated in space for several cycles before the Aurora Drift found her. Liam listened and felt a growing admiration for her bravery in the face of fear. She asked many questions about humans. She wanted to know why they explored beyond their homeworld when they already had a thriving civilization. Liam explained that curiosity drove humans forward and that the desire to understand the unknown was built into their nature. Rila looked thoughtful and said that her own culture preferred to stay within safe boundaries. Liam responded that humans believed growth came from challenge and risk. She seemed moved by that idea and said she envied that courage. The core bond unit finally stabilized and emitted a bright, steady glow. Rila touched it gently and closed her eyes. She whispered a silent thanks to the memories preserved within the crystal. Liam felt honored to witness such a moment. She then looked at him with gratitude and said she underestimated the skill and kindness of humans before meeting the crew. Liam shrugged and said that humans tended to surprise others. She smiled again, brighter than before. Captain Holt later entered the medbay and asked if Rila felt strong enough to speak about her attackers. She nodded and gave a clear description of the vessels and the energy weapons they used. Holt shared the data with the strategic systems to determine if the attackers posed a threat to nearby colonies. Rila appreciated that humans took the danger seriously. She admitted she did not expect to receive such immediate support from strangers. Over the next hours, Rila remained near Liam as he prepared a secure housing for her restored core bond unit. She asked if she could help with the assembly. Liam gave her simple components and guided her. She learned quickly and marveled at the way human technology encouraged hands-on interaction. She said it felt grounding to touch materials rather than manipulate energy through distant interfaces. Liam joked that humans liked to feel connected to their work. She said the connection made them strong. As the housing neared completion, the ship shook slightly. An alert blared across the intercom. Mira rushed in and informed them that a stealth vessel had appeared on sensors. The description matched the attackers from Rila's account. Rila's lines dimmed with fear. Liam placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder and told her that the Aurora Drift would not let her be captured. She swallowed nervously, but nodded. Captain Holt ordered defensive maneuvers. The ship veered around drifting ice fragments while powering shields. Liam pulled Rila behind a structural support as the hangar lights flickered. The stealth vessel fired a warning shot that grazed the outer hull. Rila trembled and whispered that her pod might have guided the attackers to them. Liam told her that humans did not abandon all eyes over accidents. She looked at him with disbelief that slowly shifted to trust. Holt commanded the rail batteries to target the enemy's cloaking field. The gunners fired a sequence of precise shots that penetrated the veil of distortion. The hostile vessel shimmered into full visibility. Rila gasped at the sight because the ship belonged to a faction her people feared for generations. Liam steadied her and prepared to escort her to the reinforced compartment deeper inside the ship. But before they moved, Rila stopped him. She insisted that she wanted to remain near the core bond unit because abandoning it would be like abandoning her ancestral connection. Liam respected her choice. The battle intensified. The Aurora Drift exchanged volleys with the enemy ship that moved with eerie silence despite its aggression. Holt directed the crew with calm determination. Humans had faced worse threats and always relied on creativity and persistence. Liam tightened the housing around the core bond unit and asked Rila if her technology could supply additional energy to their shields. She said it could if linked properly. Liam grinned because he loved a challenge. He prepared another cable and held it up. Rila blinked and asked again in disbelief if he was putting that inside the housing. Liam nodded with enthusiasm. She huffed with flustered resignation, but trusted him. They completed the connection just as another impact rattled the hull. The core bond unit surged with power and redirected energy to the ship's shield generator. The shields brightened and held firm against the next barrage. Holt announced that the shields had strengthened unexpectedly. Liam gave Rila a triumphant smile. She looked stunned that her technology could merge so well with human engineering. The enemy vessel attempted to retreat when its weapons overheated. Holt ordered a final precision strike that disabled the engines. The hostile ship drifted powerless. The crew erupted in cheers. Rila released a long breath she had held during the battle. Her glowing cheek lines brightened with renewed energy. Liam felt relieved because he wanted her first experience among humans to be one of safety, not despair. When the battle ended, Rila walked to the viewport and looked at the defeated vessel with sorrow rather than triumph. She said conflict frightened her people and that she feared this event might escalate hostilities. Liam stood beside her and said that humans believed in protecting the innocent, but also in seeking peace whenever possible. She said she hoped her people would understand that humans had saved her. Over the next day, the crew scanned the disabled enemy ship and ensured it could no longer pursue them. Rila remained near Liam and helped dismantle the temporary wiring. She said she had learned more about humans in one day than in all previous cycles of her life. She admired their bravery, their willingness to act, and their refusal to surrender, even when facing darkness. As Liam finished sealing the stabilizer. Housing Rila touched his hand lightly and thanked him again. She said she had misjudged humans before meeting him. She had expected crude methods and impatient attitudes. Instead, she found care, ingenuity, and warmth. Liam replied that humans were far from perfect, but always tried to rise to the moment. She said that was what made them remarkable. When the Aurora Drift prepared to escort Rila to a peaceful spaceport, she stood before the crew with gratitude. She said she would tell her people that humans were allies who carried their strength, not only in their machines, but in their hearts. Holt nodded with pride. Liam felt a quiet satisfaction because he believed this was what HFY spirit meant to him. Humans did not need grand titles or legendary weapons to be extraordinary. They only needed courage, compassion, and the willingness to help someone who feared the unknown. Rila approached Liam one last time before boarding the shuttle to the diplomatic station. She held the core bond unit close and said she would always remember the moment when she thought he wanted to insert a strange metal device into her body. Liam laughed and said misunderstandings built friendships in space. She smiled warmly and said she hoped to see him again. As the shuttle departed, Liam watched it fade into the stars. He felt proud that humanity had shown its best side to someone who needed it most. The Aurora Drift resumed its patrol, but the ship felt different now. A new story lived within its halls, one of unexpected trust and the bond between a human engineer and an alien girl who learned that humanity was far more than she imagined. And somewhere far ahead in the starlit path, Rila carried the memory of humans who used simple tools to do impossible things, and she carried the hope that her people would one day stand beside them in peace.